What do we want to talk about?
And be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. Ralph Waldo Emerson.
Welcome to the Bailey Show podcast, a guy show women love to listen to.
Intellectually immature nonsense.
That's BS.
That's BS.
Yes.
That's BS.
Okay, then, let's do it.
All right. There it is, episode 161 of the Bailey Show podcast. My name's Jason Bailey. Thanks for being here. Joined by the B-Man, Brandon Thrasher.
What up? It's like we took a year vacation. We're back, bitches.
Yeah, right. It's like the same thing. And there is, let's call him G.I. Chuck. How do you like that? That's what I want to call it. What, I was trying to think of this when I was in the shower. I was thinking about you last night and I was going, because I was very excited to do this morning and continue to do this. And obviously we have a lot to discuss. What branch of the military were you in?
I was in the Air Force.
You're in the Air Force. So I was trying to think of something clever, Brandon, where I could be like Army Chuck or Marine Chuck. And then I was like, I think he's in the Air Force. That's a tough one. Air Chuck. We could do Air Chuck, but I don't know if people are going to think you're a basketball player. They're not going to think.
I still got, yeah. I mean, it worked for Jordan. I'll take it. Yeah, whatever you got.
So if anybody has any good nicknames for Chuck, just that's descriptive, that we can give him all the credit for serving in our fine armed forces. Flyboy Chuck, Maverick. We'll call you Maverick. Goose. We'll call you Goose. How about that?
I do need a handle like that. Yeah. If you can think of one like that, if I was a pilot, I wasn't a pilot, but I'll tell people I was. That's
what
fine.
the fuck did you do in the Air Force?
I was a criminal investigator.
Really?
Yeah.
How long? I never even knew that. It's always, interesting when you meet people that are in the military and you're like, yeah, I was in the Navy. Oh man, God, that must be tough being a SEAL, huh? No, actually, what I did was the laundry on the USS Grover Cleveland. Like, oh, really? Thought you might do something a little bit more exciting than that. So no, not you. I'm just saying in general. But anyway, so this is going to be the lineup moving forward. I think we have a couple different people to talk to in this episode. We have people that have been diehard OG two peers and have been with me from day one throughout this past year, which is kind of like been a blur for the most part. And then we have new people to the podcast, and maybe people that were, listening to the BS Uncensored when we were doing it at the radio station. I know that we have gained somewhat of an audience now that have been in California for about a year. So this is kind of cool moving forward. But Brandon, you're right. It's like it's like I never left the Golden Scissors studio in Atlanta. Now I'm in the Golden Scissors studio in California for not that much longer, but it's at least the golden, and you can't see it behind me, but I got my next studio is going to be totally different where my cameras will see my Golden Scissors studio logo. So anyway, so thanks guys for being a part of this process. I do appreciate it. A lot of questions well, first, before we start that, Brandon, sorry to hear about the loss in your family. I know that you
appreciate it.
Yeah, you flew back. You got a flight just to record, so appreciate that. You're in Kentucky. Who did you lose?
My grandma, my mom's mom.
Your grandmother. So I'm sorry to hear about that. Everything okay at the funeral? Everything good? Pictures look fine.
Yeah, pretty much. Everything went well. No one went crazy or tried to steal grandma's things when we had dinner over there at her house. So I think everyone's going to be okay with it.
Were you close with your grandmother?
Sort of. I mean, I used to see her like twice a year. That was about it. But, she was a good grandma.
So you didn't cry or anything?
No, usually at funerals, I don't cry. It's the night of. I'll go home and just lay in my bed and I'll just give her a good little cry. All my grandparents get one good cry at night.
Wow, I can't see Brandon crying. Brandon, you don't look like much of a crier.
Yeah, no, I usually just do it by, funerals about whenever someone dies, and I just go home and lay in bed and I'll be thinking about all the memories with them and be like, yeah, I'll go ahead and give them a good cry right now.
A great place for you to go to really get in touch with your emotions is the state of California. They're really big on that. It seems like everyone has got some type of problem, whether it's real or fabricated, and they have to have a therapist. I mean, they bring their therapist with them. They bring them, If they're in an event, they bring them up on stage. I mean, it's a thing. And then they supposedly, because they go to a therapist, they know everything about the other person. It's very, very interesting. It is a melting pot of people with fucked up emotions. But they talk about it all the time. And the more they talk about it, the worse they get. It's a very interesting state. Now, what?
Therapists have therapists out there?
Therapists have therapists. Yes. And the therapists have therapists have therapists. Everyone has therapists, but everybody likes to talk about problems. And most of the problems aren't even real that I've learned. And it's funny because it's such a divided state, not only politically, but emotionally. Like there is a lot of people, and it seems like I'm attracted to these types of people, the people that are like, dude, fucking rub some dirt on it, right? But there's people that don't buy into it, and they're trapped here. They can't leave. Like it's just there's so many people that I've met since living here in the past year that absolutely hate living here. I mean, there's a lot of things to like. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of things to like, and I've met some really, really cool people since I've lived here, and that's part of the journey. That's why this isn't that much of a bust, because I did get to meet some cool people. But there's a lot of people that just want to leave.
Were they people like you that moved out there thinking California would be cool, or they lived there their whole lives and like, man, this place is going to shit, I want to get out?
In my experience, they're people that have lived here their whole lives. You know,
Yeah,
but
I think a lot of people coming to Georgia for sprinklers and everything, they're buying homes. They'll be like, oh, I just moved to here from California. I see a lot of those people. I guess they're just tired of it and moving to the East Coast somewhere.
yeah, like California used to be the wild, wild west. Now it's the mild, mild west. You know, it's not the same. I mean, Chuck, you know, you've traveled all around the world. You know what I'm talking about. It's just it's another planet. I didn't think it was real. All the things that people told me before I moved here, I didn't think they were real until I moved here. They're real.
I lived in California for 5 years, man. And that's back in 1997 when I moved there. And I remember that at the time I smoked, and they were going to outlaw smoking in like bars.
Mm.
This was like unheard of. It's unheard of, right? I mean, back then, this was like, wait, you're going to stop us from smoking in bars? And I then vowed, I was like, I'll never go to another bar in California. And now, obviously, the trend picked up, I think, a little bit. But you know, it was like, I'm putting my foot down, man. This is unpatriotic.
Yeah, it kind of became a thing, didn't it, with the bars and the smoke and the cigarettes?
Yeah, it's stupid. You're fine. Get over it. I mean, if you smoke at like a Waffle House and I'm trying to eat my waffles, you know, that's not good. But
Still do that in
at the
Alabama.
bars,
Say that.
Yeah, Alabama.
they still can smoke.
I'm just about to say you can go to a Waffle House in Alabama and smoke a cigarette.
The cook's got a long ash hanging out of his mouth. Like, yeah, whatever.
Actually, the funeral Brandon was at, people were smoking at the funeral.
Yeah.
That's not Goody Bags, Newports, and Pall Malls.
I have to traffic my tobacco here. So that was something they didn't, you know, my experience living here with everything is, here's what I've compared it to. It's like a kid and you're looking through a pamphlet about a summer camp, and the pamphlet is amazing. The pictures are amazing. The context is amazing. The camp counselors are amazing. Everything's amazing. And when you get to the camp, it looks nothing like the pamphlets. Very much like K-Val in Hot Tub Time Machine. What they remembered Kodiak Valley and then what they went back to, that's what it was. It was a rug pull. It was a bait and switch. It was, there's a lot of things, you know, I'm not going to talk too much about the job for a lot of different reasons. There's not really all that much to say. I mean, there are stories, of course, that we'll discuss at a later time, but it's it just, the whole experience was a lying pamphlet. That's what it was. It was, but anyway, I get my, they didn't tell me in the pamphlet that they don't have flavored tobacco here. So as a dipper of mint long cut skull long cut mint, thank God I met a buddy. I used to get it shipped from Georgia. Like I would have Jose ship me some, or, you know, my friends in Atlanta ship me some. I'm like, this is going to get really ridiculous and very expensive. And so I have a buddy of mine who smokes menthols. God, why does the damn thumb keep coming up in Zoom? I hate that.
Because you keep liking your comment like as
Yeah,
you're
mine doesn't
talking.
work.
And yeah, me and Brandon just got to give a thumbs up.
So
Freaking ass
for
thumb,
the
that's all I
next
got.
episode, I got to figure out how to turn that off. It's driving me insane. So, so I have a buddy of mine, and I talk with my hands. That's the problem. So I have a buddy of mine that will drive every like month or so to Reno, and where I live in Roseville, which is actually a nice spot, you know. So the Bay Area is a cesspool, right? San Francisco is absolute apocalyptic. You know, the shit that's going on there is fucking, I mean, there's nice patches, but it is bad. So all those people are moving to Sacramento, but nobody wants to live in Sacramento. The city of Sacramento, there are more homeless people in Sacramento than there are in Atlanta. It is nuts. Like you will drive down in the city. I was down there the other day. A buddy of mine, Jesse, who actually is going to join us on the podcast from time to time. Really nice guy, big dude, owns a studio out there. I went out and I did some pictures knowing that I was getting ready to get fired. So I went out there and did a photo. God.
That's a good comment. That's a good comment.
Pictures.
Wear gloves or something. There's some.
I would have to keep my hands to myself, like between my legs. It's gonna drive me nuts. So I'm driving down there, and it was miles and miles of a stretch of homeless people. There were tents, there were beat up RVs, people living out of their cars. Now, of course, you feel sorry. You know, you're like, man, that sucks. I wish you were in a better situation. But it's you know, there's like a fine line of, you know, getting you help and, you know, getting out of Dodge and kind of getting off the side of the street. I mean, it was a thing. Like people were bitching and complaining. They were filming a Leonardo DiCaprio movie and they had to remove some homeless people that were around the shoot. And I mean, this is kind of the mentality, you know, it's like, how dare you remove these people? And, you know, on the air, I probably wasn't a fan favorite for a lot of ways that people think here. I mean, they live in this fucking make-believe world, you know, a lot of these people. And I'm like, you do realize they don't live there. That's why they're homeless, or as you call them, unhoused. Like that fucking makes a difference. You know, like that's not their property. They're not paying taxes. We pay taxes to be on our property. It is not their God-given right to live in that space. You know, that's not how the system works. We try to live in a civilized civilization, right? And people were all bitching about it, but it was just a stretch. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. I mean, maybe in LA, and that was years ago when I saw it. You know, that's a bad homeless population, but it's like, I don't know what they're going to do about it. And I guess during COVID, you know, all the homeless moved downtown because, you know, California like overreacted to COVID. So they all moved downtown. They're like, well, fuck this. If nobody's in the parking garages, we're going to live there. They couldn't
A
get
new
a
penthouse, baby. Top floor.
And I do the
Moving
same.
on up.
If I were them, I would do the same fucking thing, right? I would totally do that. So
I can see Leo like moving the homeless people out of the way and then be like, all right, bring in the homeless actors.
well, yeah, right. You know, actually, they didn't even kick them out. They moved them somewhere, which I thought was very sweet. You know, they moved them somewhere instead of going, you just got to leave. I don't care where you go. They like, I think they took them to my city, which, you know, there's like one of those
city over there.
Yeah, they have all these little things. I don't know where it's at around here. Anyway, my point is so my Roseville is like in the middle of San Francisco and Reno, and so Reno's only like an hour and a half away. And my buddy he goes every couple months, and I just have to Venmo him money, and he drops off a bunch of tobacco, which is pretty cool. So I keep looking. Is that your dog behind you, Brandon?
No, it's the fucking cat. We're about ready to get rid of it. It meows every morning, and it's
It's a cat, dude. That's what they do.
yeah, but he didn't do it for the first 6 months he was alive.
Stupid cat keeps meowing. I got to get rid of it. It's broken.
Got his horse.
Can't have this
on.
thing.
They're gonna put it down today.
Hey, we gave him a good life. He lived longer than he would have. We found him on the dirt road. The rest of the family died that night for sure.
I thought your cat was my dog. For some reason, I'm like thinking that I'm in the same room with you. So I looked around. I'm like,
cat-sized dogs.
where's my dog?
Oh my god, he's about to rip everything.
Yeah. So, all right. So I wanted to at least get one episode up this week, as you know, we'll kind of talk what's going to go on here. So, yeah, the podcast in this capacity is back. I'm planning on doing 3 episodes a week. We'll do 2 for subs and 1 for free. And eventually here, I'm going to launch this new podcast with my wife called Honey, I Raised the Kids, because we both need therapy. You know, this is my therapy. So she definitely needs to talk it out with both of our kids, especially Ariel. I mean, Caleb's been gone and he's doing fine. That was an easy one because he's a boy. But Ariel going to Alabama in August, that's gonna be a tough one. So she's gonna be, you don't have to worry about that for a minute, Chuck, but yeah, it's gonna be a mess. It's gonna be bad. I've got to, she cries all the time, and I posted like a teaser video for the podcast and she's sitting there crying, and I'm like, oh shit. It's just
I got 9 years, man. 9 years, so I got to worry about that.
soak up that 9 years. Soak up
Yeah,
that news.
yeah.
And then Ariel's got this new boyfriend. He kind of looks like Patrick Mahomes, just not in as good a shape. Actually, Patrick Mahomes is in like good shape. So this
He's not in good shape. He's got like I look at him with his shirt off and I'm like, I could probably play for the Chiefs. Like I told my wife, I was like, look at him, dude. Like I could do that.
He's
Yeah.
male, right?
What's that?
Male.
Yeah, so this guy that my daughter's dating, she met him when she went to Alabama, like on a trip or something. And you know, he's got the Patrick Mahomes hair and, you know, skin color and the body, you know, but he's got like this, I guess he's in that stage where he's like in his second year of college. He was an athlete in high school and hasn't quite realized that he's not that athlete anymore. You know, like we've all been there, right? So like, I'm not making fun of him. I'm just telling brother that's what's going on. So she just went to her first spring break in Panama City Beach, you know, and with all of her friends from Atlanta, and he surprises her there, and he asks her to be his girlfriend because they're both going. He's going to school to be like a neurosurgeon or something, like something smart, which is good. You know, that's what my wife keeps saying. She's like, we have nothing to worry about. He's really smart. I was like, fucking Ted Bundy was smart too. Like every serial killer is smart.
Until he starts taking a brain out and looking at it, poking at it.
Exactly. So anyway, my daughter posts this picture of, you know, her on the beach in a bikini, and she's all up close to him with her hands on his chest, and they're kissing. And I'm like, what the shit? You know, now granted, she's 18 and she can do whatever the fuck she wants, but so I text her and I said, I go, your friend, the fluffy haired kid, he wants to be a doctor, right? He's like, yeah. I said, what hand is he? And she says, what do you mean, what hand is he? And I said, what is he, right-handed or left-handed? She goes, oh, he's right-handed. Why? I said, just because I want to know what hand to break next time I see him, so he can still be a doctor and provide for you later down the road. Like, this kid's got some fucking balls to take pictures like that and put it out on the internet.
I mean, aren't you kind of concerned that he met her on spring break, like unplanned? Isn't that kind of creepy?
No, he didn't meet her on spring break. They've been talking for months.
No, but I'm saying, didn't he like surprise her there?
Yeah, he showed up with his friends like last minute. So to surprise her. Hold on. What's the point? What are you talking about?
That's some creepy. I mean, I don't think that's normal. I mean, Brandon, would you do that? Would you like surprise a girl you're dating when she's on spring break with her girls? Like, hey, I think I'm gonna go down there and surprise her. Sounds like trust issues to me.
Yeah, it sounds a little weird unless maybe he like coordinated with her friends, like, hey, you think we should surprise her? And maybe they were like, yeah, I think she probably needs that right now, or nah, just wait till we get back to school. You know, we're just having
which no girl would ever say. Yeah, that sounds great. You know, it'd be fun on spring break is if you came and hung out with us, like while we're there. That's no.
All right,
No.
thanks, guys.
Creepy.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah, good luck. Hey, good luck though, man. He sounds like a great guy.
Like out of all the things I was thinking of, that was not one of them. So thanks. I was trying to find, I was like, oh, you know what? Chuck's gonna say something nice and ease my pain.
Sorry.
Not the case. Not the case at all.
Yeah, is she cheering down there at Bama?
What's that? No, she's not gonna cheer down there. She's gonna go to school and she's gonna do her thing. And she's gonna she wanted, you know, God.
That one wasn't your
Well,
fault.
Saban's gone, man. So there's nothing to cheer about anymore.
That's what I was gonna
So-
say. I was like, I don't know how that environment's gonna be now at football with
Yeah.
Caleb Ford there. I don't think it's gonna be the same.
Oh,
No,
we did the
never.
same thing when Bear Bryant left too. I mean, it'll be fine. It might not be fine next year, but you know, it'll be fine. They're not that I don't even know what I'm talking about. I'm not even an Alabama fan.
Yeah. He said, guys, Alabama's going to be awesome. Don't worry about it. What are you talking about?
Actually, to be honest with you, for the next 2 years, I hope no one goes to a football game. So she does not have to go to any of those parties, doesn't have to get on any of those buses because she's going to rush into the sorority stuff. Actually, I hope they're so bad nobody wants to go. I hope that instead they all go to church. I hope,
Yeah.
I hope there's a new
She's on the worship team.
There's that bar down there called Church is really good.
Yeah, okay. I hope she. Well, I don't want you to go there. I want to join the Key Club, the Spanish Club. I want her to join some kind of fucking club. I want her to keep her, anywhere but alcohol and drinks. So that's just my 2 cents. So the podcast will bye. The podcast will starting next week. I just wanted to get one of these episodes out. And by the way, like the last 2 weeks, I should say, the overabundance of support from so many people, from the OG2 peers in Georgia and in Florida, some of the people that we picked up when we were doing the podcast prior to me moving to California. And then now, with the people here in California, it's really been awesome. I mean, really, really been awesome. So the plan moving forward is to do 3 episodes a week, one free, 2 sub, and then the Honey I Raised a Kid thing, and then the video and all the stuff to go along with it in social media. And then as time goes on, as many of you know, as I try to do my best to plan the future. So there have been some very interesting and positive conversations that I've been having with people that are going to help with this process moving forward. So that's cool. Really, really cool. So, I mean, that's it in a nutshell. I mean, as far as the Bailey show and my former employer, Odyssey, we parted ways a couple weeks ago. I wish them nothing but the best in their future endeavors as they actually, I don't know if I got one of those. No, I didn't.
They didn't give you a thank you note.
No.
They give you a watch?
No, it was a phone call. But I didn't get an endeavor. That sucks.
You got to retract yours now.
No, I'm a bigger man. Yeah, I just thought about that. I didn't even get an endeavor. Oh, that sucks. I'm really upset about this now. I didn't even think, I just thought about that. I didn't get a future. I didn't get an email or anything like that. Anyway, so
I'm sure it's coming, man. I'm sure it's coming. I wouldn't worry about it.
that's right, Chuck. It got lost in the mail.
I'm sure they're putting something together really nice for you.
It fell between the seats, man. You and Clark Griswold, you guys will be fine.
It's going to be in my edible arrangement when I get it. I'm sure. So, one thing I wanted to, somebody had posted like when this all went down a couple weeks ago, somebody had posted, and I think it's OG2 peer had posted, fuck you, Bailey. I'm not, you let us down and I'm not coming back. And all you're going to do is leave us again. And it struck me as an interesting post because it's, I don't want to beat up on you too bad, dude, but that post is really, one, it's completely false. And 2, it's archaic. It's outdated because it's not like radio shows where, terrestrial radio or any radio, you get used to a show and they let you go, never to hear from them again. And they don't get to say goodbye. You don't know where they go. And that sucks. And that day and age is kind of gone. They might not be on that radio station anymore, but they can go to podcasting. I mean, the shows prior to when I was there, they were smart, and I guess probably, which did not make me a fan favorite in the eyes of some people. I would, they were bashed by people, and I would actually say, just being in this space, I'd be like, no, that's what you do. It's not a joke anymore of going, oh, he's going to podcasting or he's going to subscription. Like they had this morning show that had been in the market for like 20 years and I'd never heard of them before, but they did well in this market. And I always have respect for somebody that can have success in the business behind a microphone and get paid. I mean, if you can do those 2 things, all the power to you. Just don't be a dick, right? I mean, don't pretend like you're a celebrity. But I don't know them, and I don't know if that's their deal or not. But they went to a subscription base while they were on the air. Now, they might have promoted it a little bit way too much, but smart. If you've got a fan base that's willing to follow you and you can control the narrative, do it. The afternoon guy, who I always like, here's a funny story about this guy. I don't know him, I've never met him, but I love his style because I think he and I are very similar in our style and our kind of attitude. He's a northerner, I think. He's originally from like somewhere in New York. So this guy's name's Mikey, and he did that damn show or something, which I thought was cool because I used to, back in the late 90s, I had that damn Saturday night show. So I felt an instant connection with this guy. But I never got to meet him. And they fired him in a show, and the show parted ways, know the feeling. And so he went to podcasting. And I don't know how successful he is or not, but I actually pitched an idea to bring him back. I was like, a wrestling storyline, when they were looking for an afternoon dude. They got a great afternoon guy now, this guy Abe, but he's a friend of mine. But before he was even in the picture, I was like, wouldn't this be a great, shake up the market? And, Bailey goes on the air and it's Vince versus Stone Cold. And, and I'm like, hey, let's bring him back and stuff. And they're like, fuck no, those guys, fuck that guy, can fucking talk shit about me and fuck that. And I'm like, it's not personal, it's business. Let's make some money. Let's get some ratings. It's not personal, it's business. But it didn't fly. So this space you never go away from is my point. And so to that guy, I never left you. Matter of fact, I gave you more content. The idea of me taking this job in California was that I was going to be able to do more with the podcast by having the radio show and be able to take the live calls and do the bits and the games that everybody liked, and then do the extra podcast. That was the plan all along. So the second part of what this dude said was, and then you just left it to Nate. Well, yeah, I did, because I had to get off of that part of the podcast by a specific date, which I made very, very clear. And I said contractually, I talked all about that in an episode. And then Nate was, doing his thing with his wife, the hiatus thing, and then Brandon, and you guys kind of took it over. So that RSS feed still would live because I had to go to another one again, contractually. Yes, there were some mistakes that I made. Absolutely. Not in that capacity, but as far as just another thing, but, it never left. Like anything, you got more content, and it gave Brandon and Nate the opportunity to still have that audience. So like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
I think that guy, this is just what I thought when I first saw his comment. I think he was part of a radio listener at one time, and then he kind of followed it through the demise of the station in those last few months where you could tell that no one liked the show. They weren't working good together. And then you come out with the podcast and like, hell yeah, this is awesome. He can say what he wants, and it's the flow's a lot better and the content's better. And I think a lot of people really like the podcast style more than the radio show style. So when you went back to the radio, you can't do some of the things that we were doing on the podcast, and maybe, different people weren't clicking quite as well as the podcast was. So that's kind of where I thought the guy was coming from. Like, hey, are we going to do a podcast for a year? And he's going to talk about how he's not going to go back to radio, and then he's just going to go back to radio and not do the podcast again. It's like, it's going to be a yearly thing. I think that's just kind of where he was coming from. He's probably just upset that, he didn't want to get his hopes up, I think.
Well, if that's what he meant, then I'm sorry. You're right. Yeah. No, I'm just,
Well, I
I don't know. Maybe.
I just want to say, Jason, first off, I'm sorry because, I don't go through your comments, but when you said what the listener put in there, I laughed. Because here's the deal, man. Like, I've known you for a long time, and I know you let very little affect you negatively. And I think that you take a lot of information or a lot of things people give you, and you use that as fire, and you kind of like let it, okay, well, if that's what you think, then here's where we're going to go. But at the end of the day, man, where's your passion? That's the thing. It's like, you're talking about the radio, and you get, you can have the live callers, you can have the games, you can do all those things. But with podcast, I think that and I know just talking to you over the last few days when we were talking about how you were going to do this. And I know, dude, I heard the excitement in your voice about some of the things you got planned. So at the end of the day, where's your excitement? Is it radio or is it podcasting? Which one do you prefer?
Well, I definitely love this format. And, that year I had to adjust to it because it was new to me to get out of radio style. I think I got it now, So this format I really, really like. I love this format, and I like to be able to control the narrative. So, they paid me a lot of money to move out here. That was not the end all be all of me to come out here. The money's not a thing. I'll get to that here in a minute. I feel more gratification and I feel more satisfied when I see that I got one new subscriber for $4.99. And I don't know what it is. Like for the last couple weeks, I've worked more, and I know I said this prior, and it's true, than I did the past year, just because I love coming into my office on my own time. I love putting together the new imaging. I love putting together the reels, the stuff on social, being a content creator. I love the freedom to do that and not have the pressure of like, well, I've got to get up at 3:30 in the morning. Well, I've got to do this and I've got to do this. So I just think I'm in a different place in my life, professionally, personally, financially, that I want to control the narrative. I also don't have high hopes for radio in the next 5 years. I mean, this week you're seeing a ton of layoffs with iHeart, people that have been with the company for 20 plus years in SVP roles, and then usually what follows suit are the other companies, Cumulus and then Odyssey and so on and so forth. And so they're going to know that your paycheck, the next place where you're going to make money to put food on the table, is in the eyes of some dude that's just crunching numbers, is kind of, I don't like that. And it doesn't have to be like that anymore. You can control the narrative. But I will tell you this, Chuck, people like, why did you go back? Why did you go back? There's one reason why I do radio and why anyone should do radio. And I tell every young person that gets in this business the same thing. There's one reason and one reason only. And that is you are waiting for that one phone call of the guy that is about to jump off the Brooklyn Bridge. That's a Howard Stern reference because back in the day, guy was going to commit suicide. He called Howard. Howard saved his life. That's why you do it. You wait for the river card and you're hoping to hit the royal. That's all you're doing. And I miss that. That is the one thing I did miss when I was podcasting, is I missed even the guy that, or the lady that would call up and say, hey, can't wait to see you Friday night. Bret Michaels is going to be so much fun, or those kinds of things. But what's crazy is I was thinking about this the other night, is like, I reflected on like, what did we accomplish? I mean, it was such a short period of time. We were in afternoons for, a couple months. Then they quickly moved us to morning drive, which was the plan all along. But I thought it was too soon. And shocker, I was right. But I was like, what did we accomplish? Was there any good radio? Now the show, in my opinion, was not great just because of how they had it formatted. It wasn't what I thought I was being hired. Well, what I was told that what I was being hired for was not what they wanted me to do. So it was difficult for me to do that type of show. That's not the type of show I do.
That right there, that's exactly what I think that guy is saying. Like, even you said, like, wasn't the same thing that was promised, and the show, wasn't kind of working like how the podcast was. And like, I think for you in radio and podcast, you have the fire and drive the same for radio and podcasting. But with radio, you got people you got to answer to, and they might not let things get pushed through. And a lot of times the audience doesn't know that. You can't talk about it most of the time. So they're just thinking, well, Jason just doesn't really care. He's not really working hard at it. But they don't really see the fact that you got to jump through hoops and everything in the radio. But versus the podcast, you call all the shots and you ain't got to answer to anybody. And you can be more transparent with the listeners.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, everybody takes things very personally, very, very personally. And, you can't even play bit, and say things, like the paper towel bit that I did, people took that personal. I mean, it was just everything, especially here in California. That's another thing. They have no sense of humor. Zero. I mean, no, zero. Like, and it's not just one, it's everybody. Like, they don't get a joke. And then you go, well, it's not funny. Well, no, the fuck you. It is funny. I've used it before. It was funny. Like this one dude, I thought we were cool. I made a joke about his boy. I said, everybody needs to get divorced once or something. It was a fucking joke. I've been using that on the air for fucking years. Get all flipped, pissed off, and then he hates me. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? There's a guy I was playing poker with the other day. I played 7 deuce, because everybody limped in. So I played 7 deuce and I actually won the hand. And, when he's like all serious and professional and all this stuff, and he had a bunch of chips and he goes, 7 deuce, huh? The old Doyle. I was like, no, Doyle's actually 10-2. He goes, I know what the Doyle is. I'm like, okay, relax. It's, wasn't necessarily a joke. It was just kind of a funny correction. Like, we're cool. Like, you want to pound? You want to fist me? You want to put it up in there? You want to give me a fister? Like, Jesus, dude, fucking relax. So anyway, so I took the job for a couple different reasons. And I think, and there was an episode that I discussed this, but just to recap, I took the job. The main reason is because I trusted someone. Unfortunately, that was a bad move. And that's on me, because my whole thing in life is DTA, right? But everybody tells me, Bailey, you're just such a fucking dick. You got to trust somebody at some point in your life. Well, you know what? Next time you tell me that, I'm going to punch you in the fucking face, because it's not true. DTA for life, DTA forever. Okay. Learn that lesson the hard way. The second reason is for what I was telling you about, what I did miss about radio. And I was like, I can juggle both. Did it go exactly to scale? No, it did not. Was it way off? No, it wasn't way off. I mean, it wasn't the worst thing in the world. And, there was Rach and I needed a change, I think, in scenery a little bit. I think we thought we needed it more than what we actually did. Maybe midlife crisis, midlife couple crisis, whatever the case may be. It's kind of like our eyes were bigger than our stomach type of deal. And then our daughter, and we can put all this on Ariel. Like, we can blame this whole,
just blame her.
whole fucking situation, blame it on my daughter. So my daughter, since she was 9, wanted to be an esthetician. And so she didn't even want to go to college at first. And then I convinced her that she should go to college, get her business degree, then go to esthetician school. So, like, the best school in the country is in LA. There's one in LA and there's one in Orlando. She didn't want to go to Orlando because that's where she lived most of her life. So she wanted just to take a leap of faith and go to LA. Well, the fuck if my daughter is moving to the West Coast in Los Angeles without me at least 4 hours away, somehow, shape, form, fashion. So I was like, okay, well, this opportunity came up. Maybe that's the good Lord speaking to me. This is a sign. It's good money. I can continue the podcast. We can do all these things and we can be close to bees. Well, we get out here and it's not even 2 weeks. And she's like, I'm going back home. I got to go back to, like, people looked at her, treated her. It's a different world out here. Like, you look at, I'm a fucking kid. I'm a diehard Republican redneck in the,
Yeah, baby.
and you know what? Fine. That's fine. You know what? I'm a bipartisan guy for the most part with a lot of conservative views. I've never screamed for any political party, but for a state that's supposedly a bunch of people that are trying to be individuals, which is not the case because they all are the same, and they're so non-judgmental. They're the most judgmental fucking people I've ever met. Like, out of the gates, judgmental. Like, totally. You have a truck. There was a girl that I worked with that made a comment to me, which I was like, I was surprised. It was when I first got there. She said something to me like, oh, you're probably one of those truck driving people with the American flag and one of those sticker flags with a blue line in it. I was like, and I replied back with, I was like, yeah, I mean, I would, of course. Like, those are all the things you should fucking support. Trucks, country, law enforcement. And I was like, oh my God, where did I just end up? And you just said that out loud in the workplace. It's like, oh my God, those kind of the things through, like, GD thrown around all the time. You can't find a church in the state to save your life. It's just a very different place, look, for those that are listening, that have come over to the podcast, I'm not beating up on you. I'm just telling you my experience and the difference between living in the South. So that's it. That's all I'm trying to do. Anyway,
Just letting you know he hates you people. You're kind.
Yeah.
That's 10 minutes tells you anything.
I don't want to do that, but like when you're on the radio, you have to be very careful on what you say and how you say it, because it's selective listening and all this. I just want to make it a point. I'm like, if that's not you, then you shouldn't have a problem with it. But there are those people, and who I'm talking about. It's like everybody, every lesbian that I've met was born straight. You know what I mean? Or like was straight for their entire lives and now they're lesbians. It's just like everybody's confused and everybody doesn't know where the fuck they're at and everybody needs to change and grab a leg tattoo. It's just fucking weird. This is so weird. So that's why I just thought everything lined up and it was perfect. So we come out here and we buy a big house, and things are okay for about 3 weeks. And
Maybe you probably should have maybe booked an Airbnb for a month and just kind of out there before you bought a house.
Collected hotel points for a little bit. Just been like, you know what? Maybe we should stay at the Ramada.
See,
That'd
that-
be nice.
On the podcast from the hotel room for a good month or so.
See, that's the thing is I hate renting. So I'm a big fan of buying a house. So we're going to make money off this house. It's fine. We'll be able to sell it. I've in the history of me dealing with real estate, and I've been buying real estate since I was 20 years old. I'll be 49 in June. I've only had one bad situation. And that was during a recession, like a real recession in the mid 2000s. So it'll be fine. We actually put the house on the market today.
I don't know, man. I mean, if you've been labeled a conservative, that's going to lower your price value. I mean, they're going to know that a conservative lived there before, which means, they're going to have to deal with all that hate mail and stuff when you leave. I don't know. I don't know if you're going to get.
Take down my American flag. You're gonna
You got to take that down.
God forbid, So the next step is to sell this house and then the move. I know where I'm moving. People are asking me, it's like, are you staying in California? Are you doing this? I know where I'm moving. That'll come at a later date.
The next best thing, New York.
What?
New Jersey. He's moving to New Jersey, I think.
No, we're going to Southern California. Yeah.
The South better.
But actually, we're going to go up to Portland. I heard it's a lot better than. No, we've got a plan. We know what we're doing. We know where we're going, and I know the next step and next stages and all that good stuff. And you guys, I think I've told you guys what the supposed plan is. We'll see how it works, and we'll go from there. But now I just I've been driving all over trying to get free boxes, and there's this place around here called El Dorado Hills where we almost moved. Like the first house we found when we came out here, we wanted to move there. It's really fucking cool. Like you're up like on the hill and you look down on the valley. It's like you're minions. Look at you down there. You probably use coupons, you fucking minions, it's really cool. I'd never seen anything like it, because like the topography here is awesome. You look that way, you got the Sierra Nevada, you look that way, you got this, and 30 minutes up the hill, you're 1,000 feet elevation in Auburn, and you go to the American River. And I mean, everything that is either a large vehicle or a Mac iOS system is here. So like you got the Tahoes and you got the Sierras and you got everything. It's really, really beautiful, so the El Dorado Hills is elevated and you look down. The only reason we didn't move there is some dude that I ended up working with said, you got to move based off of your power company around here. It's like, what does that mean? And he says, yeah, you don't want to move there. They have rolling blackouts and it's real expensive. That power company is the one that caused the fires. Oh shit. Okay, I'll find a new power company. I'll go somewhere else. That's the only reason why I took the dude's advice.
That should have been your first red flag.
Yeah.
Just found a power going to it. Only about 30% of the homes won't catch on fire.
Well, that's what he said, because he has a studio at his house too, and he's like, yeah, the power goes out, you're fucked. I'm like, I do have like 32 minutes with these battery backups, so I can at least finish my work. Like, where am I living? Like, I had a cabin in North Georgia. I had a generator for that shit. I was like, is this the same type of situation? I need to get a generator. So we were going to move up there, but we didn't. But anyway, it's a lot of really nice houses, really, really nice houses. So that's where, for some reason, where we've been finding all these free boxes, and we're slowly packing. Like we're doing 2 boxes a day, and it's not going to be anywhere near as difficult as it was when we left Atlanta, because that house was lived in. A quarter of this house has still not been unpacked. So it's like, put it in a pod and we're good, ready to go. So we go up there the first night, and we go to this house. And again, it's one of those like older lesbian ladies. And, you know, she probably just became a lesbian like a week ago, right? So one of those. And I'm assuming it was her lickety split friend that showed up. And she walks in, and I'm like, oh yeah, they're this isn't. And so I was like, these boxes have to be from her friend. And I was like, these are lesbian boxes. This is cool. But this bitch lives in like $1 million+ house in El Dorado Hills. And she charged me $95 for 100 boxes. So I give her $100. She goes, let me get your change. I said, well, you keep the $5. I mean, I don't know why you just didn't charge $100 anyway. What the fuck, 95? That's just stupid. And so she comes back, she gives me $5, and like she was terrified of me. She would talk to me through the door, and she didn't want to be, you know, she's afraid and stuff like that. But I'm going, you have $1 million+ house. What are you gonna? You're lucky I'm coming to get these boxes. You don't need $100. What the fuck you charging me $100 for the boxes for?
Wait, I got a question. So you got charged for cardboard boxes from somebody else?
Yeah.
Yeah, and why
I've
is
never-
everybody at Druid Hill sell, or whatever you said? Why are they selling? Why are they selling?
Never
cardboard
even heard. Who sells used boxes? And better yet, who buys them? Can't you just go to like Publix or something and be like, yo, dude, can I go run through your recycle bin? Like,
No, these are the good boxes. These are like the moving boxes.
unless they're Tupperware, there's no reason to be buying them. They fall apart in the rain.
What did
I
you
mean,
do? What did you do with your boxes? Did you sell your boxes when you got there? Why did you not still have your boxes you originally used?
Yeah, great question, Brandon. I threw them all fuck away. I didn't even try to.
Could have made 10 grand off them boxes.
No, I could have paid for my move back or wherever we decided to go if I would have kept those boxes. But I actually lost money because I paid for those boxes from a lady in Atlanta who was selling boxes. And then when we get out of here, I wasted gas going trickety split on Sundays up to the dumpster so nobody saw me.
So you bought boxes when you left Atlanta too?
Yeah.
What? I've never even heard of anyone doing it, let alone somebody doing it twice.
Those are probably the same boxes. They probably just go to the dump and get them out.
They're like, hey, Jason Bailey's moving to California. If you guys got any boxes, we'll ship them out there. He'll buy them.
Can I tell you something? I need you to listen. So even when I'm not moving, I buy boxes. It's just I collect.
I'm
boxes.
gonna start keeping all my boxes for you, man. All of them. You're never gonna have to buy a box again, buddy.
No,
Ever.
Some totes, some
Truth-
plastic totes.
truth be told, it's a thing, man. Go into Facebook Marketplace, and some people will give them away for free. That was my point. Is I don't know why she just didn't give them away, because you got to get rid of them anyway. So they'll charge you like $1 or 50 cents per box or something like that. But we have so much stuff. Like we used 4 large pods to move out here. So hopefully we're going to consolidate, knock on wood, and use 2 when we move. That's the plan. I just got the phone with my pod lady yesterday. So that's the plan. So anyway, we go up there, and I'm just like, why are you charging me for the boxes? So I was just kind of pissed. That was my point. So we come back, and it was 100 boxes. So that gets us started. And so we're starting to pack up. And then I get a notification on Facebook Marketplace the day after that somebody else, same fucking location, has got boxes for sale. And so we drive, and it's a 45-minute drive. So we drive back up there, and this guy's like, bring cash. I was like, okay. So we go up to this beautiful $1 million+ house in El Dorado Hills, and he's got a ton of really good boxes, like 2 men in a truck boxes, like the white boxes with the black letters, really good, thick fucking boxes. He's got an array of boxes for everything you need. And it's $25, but I'm going, why are you charging me for boxes too? Like you guys, you want $25? Like it was like 70 boxes. What? Did you you need to get rid of these boxes. Just give me the boxes. You're rich. Give me the fucking boxes.
So you have 200. So you have 200 boxes.
170.
That that's a lot of boxes, man. I don't even know how much stuff do you have. That's a lot of boxes.
I got
A
Well,
lot.
you said half of it was still packed up. Those are still in boxes, right? What are you gonna put those boxes in another box? You gonna double box them? Why do you need so many boxes?
He's got like 500 boxes.
We're just-
Every spoon has its own box.
I might have miscalculated. We got 2,000 boxes.
Rach, your comb box is over there. It's the huge one that says 2 men in a truck.
I like these rocks in the backyard. Put them in a box.
All grass clippings gotta go. They gotta go.
Put them in a box.
I hope I don't think we're good. I think we're probably gonna need another 100 boxes, but we got into good enough boxes to start. Anyway, my point was we're packing. And and I don't know why these people are charging me for boxes. But now it's kind of like a scavenger hunt. When you were a kid, Chuck, you didn't like when you like action figures, GI Joes and something like that. You were like, oh my God, I gotta find this last one in this series. And you would do anything through hell or high water. No internet, no cell phones. You're picking up the old landline. You're like, can I speak with the manager? Can you check to see if Destro is in stock? Do you have Destro? You know, those types of things. Like you get a
Oh yeah. I mean, my jam was Voltron. I don't know if you remember Voltron, and you'd collect all the little Voltron and they'd all come together to make like the big dude, right? And I couldn't find the yellow one. And it was like, and my dad drove me around to like every Kmart, every what was it? It was Kmart, and I don't think Walmart was out yet. What was it? It was like a Myers or something. I was in Michigan. But I mean, we drove around everywhere, and then I started calling because that's when I got smart and was like, I gotta find this thing. And I found it at Blockbuster, oddly enough.
really,
they had
that's very strange. Yeah. So that's what I'm
Yeah, so I know.
I'm Voltroning the situation. So like when I go on the hunt for something, it's like dating, you know, like when you're on the hunt, you know, it's like, all right, I need to find a redhead with green eyes and kind of Asian. You know, she's out there. I want to find her. You know, it's like when I find a good deal on boxes, I want to go get them and get as many as possible. And so that's my thing right now. That and the podcast.
You were leading to something else, not comparing.
I did too, dude. I thought we had already left boxes. I thought he was gonna be like, "Oh, and guys, there's something else I need, you know, like this microphone or this cool gadget." But no, just good old fashioned boxes.
I really, I have everything I
Sums up
need.
California.
What's that?
That box story sums up California.
That's been my
Perfect.
Yeah. I did get back into poker, which is cool. I lost my ass this past weekend, but you know, I got a casino, this place Thunder Valley, that's like literally 9 minutes from my house. And so I wasn't playing a bunch of poker when I got here, you know, because I just never, you know, I feel bad leaving Rach and this and this and that. And so so the afternoon guy at the radio station, he and I became buddies, and he's a poker player. So we'll go out there and you know, he's like, hey, you want to meet me out there and all this stuff. So we just became, you know, friends like that. And so now I go out there a lot, and I lost my I played in a tournament at the WPT's in town, World Poker Tour. So they had a tournament. I never paid this much to be in a tournament. I paid $1,100 to be in this $1 million guaranteed tournament. And there was like 600 people, and I got blown out early. I was so fucking pissed. I had Queen Jack, the flop came Jack something, and this kid that just sat down, total fucking douche monster. You know, he's like wearing all black. He's got baby fat arms. He's got the fucking reflection sunglasses. Just a kid you look like you just want to fucking punch in the face, right? And so he's betting into me. I'm like, bring it home, motherfucker. You know, I'm thinking he's got like I don't know what he's got. And so he ends up going all in, and I call him. Guy's got King Jack to my Queen Jack. That's just a bad beat, you know. So $1,100, and then I go and sit down at a cash table. Lost my ass there. I was like, you know, but the first four tournaments that I played at this place just over a month ago, I cashed in all four of them. I made it to the final table on two of them, and so I'm like, I gotta catch my wave, man. This fucking sucks. So,
Would you say your gambling habits have increased since your job displacement?
I wouldn't say it like that.
Have you been at the casino every day since you got
Yeah,
fired?
exactly.
I would word it differently, Chuck. Here's how I would word it. My wife is an enabler. And, you know, I don't know if you know this, but I had some health issues before I was I parted ways. And so still trying to figure out what's up with my fingernails. I think I might have a solution for a later episode, but I am going to the cardiologist this week. And so a lot of it's stress. My doctor says that it's not a matter of if, but when I have a heart attack. I'm one stressor away from having a heart attack. That's what this past year has done to me. And so poker de-stresses me. It's I haven't been able to play any tennis since I've lived here for, it's another story. So I only have a certain amount of de-stressors. Working out is a de-stressor when I'm not pressured for time. Taking a walk, we've got a lot of green space around us, which is really cool and beautiful. And so that's a de-stressor. I enjoy laying in bed with my wife, watching movies. That's a de-stressor. Playing with the dog's de-stressor. Poker is a de-stressor for me. And she doesn't care if I'm sitting there for 12, 14 hours. She's really cool like that. So back to the way you phrased it, the way I would say is me practicing, getting better at the game of poker, which de-stresses me, has definitely increased over the last couple of weeks since my job environment has changed. Yes.
So the losses are just practice. That's all it is.
You know what? Jordan missed more shots than he made.
Yeah, I know. I'm always the most carefree and so happy in life when I lose $1,100 in the matter of 15 minutes.
That's a good day at the table right there.
Someone else needed it more than me. That's how I look at it.
Well,
when he got up from the table and he's like, dang, I feel good.
that
Gave
was
that to the church.
that was just a tournament. I said I went and played cash later, so it got worse.
You de-stressed again.
You know what? I'm not gonna lie. At one point, I did have a bit of a stressor. There was a stressor. There was a stress point moment. So, but the poker thing has been fun. So, we are moving. The house is on the market. If you want to see our house, you can. I don't know. I do hope that obviously, if you guys are listening to this, you're subs, and I appreciate that. One thing I'm going to want to stress more on this go around is to help us spread the word. Brandon's a fucking mega influencer now with millions and millions of views. While you know about this, Chuck? Do you follow him on social media? This dumb motherfucker is feeding tobacco to ants and trying to buy Chinese missiles. And he's got millions.
I do not follow Brandon. Brandon, I need to follow you. I'll follow you today.
Instagram.
It's the dumb
Instagram.
shit, but it's so fucking funny. He just to say out loud that day number 4, I'm feeding tobacco to ants to buy Chinese missiles, and that's all he does. He puts like a little tobacco thing in an ant thing, and then he's out, and he gets millions of views. It's so fucking crazy.
Yeah, we're putting Zens in there, and really it was just retaliation and getting Zen because I was trying to get a Zen sponsorship. And they reached back out to me and they said, we're currently not working with any creators to help battle underage use of Zen. So I said, fuck that. And then I went and made that video, and then it got 38 million views because now all these kids are like, what's Zen? And I tell them right off the bat, like, yeah, you have fun with that shit, Zen.
Oh, that's good. I didn't know that part of the story. Yeah. So yeah, more of the like, shares, and follows and all that kind of stuff. And I'm really proud of this. I did 2 new designs. Actually, I did 3 new designs because I had to replace the old podcast designs for the merch, the stuff that Nate did. And because they all have the old website on there, podcastthebs.com. And so I did a better, because we're going to do that here on this episode, better with fuck. I'm buying like everything with that logo, that design. It's badass, dude. Like how it looks on a coffee mug or your cell phone screen, or even just a black t-shirt. It's pretty badass. It's really cool. And then I did like a cool graffiti, the BS podcast in pink, like hot pink, which is pretty cool. Like, graffiti, like shh kind of thing. And then I did the best receipt. What did I say? What is it? What's my line? The ultimate receipt is success or something. Oh, success is the best receipt. That's what I said. So that one's pretty cool. So the merch store has got new stuff up there. The socials, all of our socials, I guess we should probably, if you want to, I don't know, Brandon, you want to do this? Can you help? Can you do something like this? Could you put together like a link tree? Because all my link trees are full, and I know you don't use it. Of like yours and Chuck's social and the show's social, so everybody can have it in one place. Because all mine are filled
Wait, what you talking about making a separate link tree for what?
for you guys, so we can like I can post that up there too, so everybody can find y'all.
Oh yeah, I have a link tree already.
Oh, you do? Okay. I didn't know if you want to. Like, you know what? I can make a separate one with a different email address. I just want to make sure people can find Chuck and people can find Brandon.
I don't think there's a limit on your link tree, is there?
Yeah, but it gets cluttered. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I've got like 10, you know, because I've got my personal, I've got the show, I've got my court caddy, I've got so much shit in there. So if I just simplify it and just had ours, that would be a lot better. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, idea. Yeah, to put it on the show page, just there, link tree, and then all the links on there.
Yeah. There's one up there for just mine, but you know, as we move forward, you know, Chuck's like, he's texting me, he's like, man, I'm starting a Facebook page. We're doing
Hey, I said I was like, look, man. So I have a Facebook page, but it is straight up Chuck Iron Fist because, and this is a great story because I was in Seattle like 10 years ago, and I'm walking through Seattle with my buddies, and my name was my real name. It was Chuck Lunsford on there, and every time we walked by a gay bar or anything like that, they would tag me in it. And back then, I didn't know like how Facebook worked, and they would tag me, say, you know, Chuck, you know, eating dinner at, you know, shish kebabs, whatever, gay bar. So they do this to me the whole time I'm there, and I'm not on social media the whole time, so I don't know. So I get back after 3 days in Seattle, and at this point, it looks like I've hit like 10 gay bars, a couple gay or male strip clubs, and they're all like, you know, Chuck had his great time last night at such and such. So I get home, and my mom calls me, and she's like, what were you doing in Seattle? And I was like, oh, we went out there to a concert, and then, you know, we went to this, you know, this other parade thing. It wasn't the gay parade, but anyway. So my mom's like, well, you know, your Facebook it's all kinds of stuff, and it's pornography and this and that. And I'm like, what? So I get on there, and I'm like, oh my God. And I didn't know how to like delete it. So I changed my name so nobody would find me on that were already friends. So I was Chuck Iron Fist because I had to go with a Native American name so Facebook would allow it to happen. So that's the best I could do. So when I asked you that last night, and I said, should I have another Facebook page? It's because of that. You know, I don't want people to be like, Chuck Iron Fist. Why is he Chuck Iron Fist?
Well, I thought
It's
that was
just strictly
that was your name from the gay bar. And he
that, that it was my name after the Seattle trip. They said I was Chuck Iron Fist after that, if you know what I mean. But
you-
no, it was
you just dropped Ed from the name because it was actually a verb. And so it was Chuck Iron Fisted. And then you're like, man, I left him back in Seattle.
Yeah, I should have thought that through before I told you. But anyway, yeah, I definitely texted you about starting another one just for the show. So I'm going to do that. That way it's easy.
All right. And you know, for those that don't remember Chuck or don't know Chuck, he is in a band called Distinct Grace. And we've done many of events together. I mean, before, you know, I came out to California, we had, you know, the Halloween party at the place in
Tannery Road.
Tannery Row.
Tannery Row.
Verve Pipe.
Yeah, and booked the Verve Pipe. I mean, this was a 300 plus. A podcast did what? A 300 plus ticketed event for Halloween, and I booked the Verve Pipe, and Distinct Grace opened up for them, and it was a blast. I mean, people still talk about how fucking awesome that was, and the people from Tannery Row were great. You know, I mean, it was so much fun. What's my boy's name? Mike? Is he still there? Is that
Yeah, Mike's still there, chain smoking in the back room, man. Still
Yeah.
holding it down.
That dude is awesome. Like he was, I really, really liked that guy. Really, really. And I was so disappointed that we weren't able to do a second one. But you know, with my plans in my head and what I'm thinking for moving forward is Podcast and Pores. I own the name, so Podcast and Pores. Some other questions. Oh, people are asking, is Nate joining the podcast? Most likely not. I haven't talked to the dude in like a year, so I don't know what he's doing. So that's probably a no. Is Nikki? No, I haven't talked to her since we were let go from the radio station. My wife saw her the other day because we gave her a free spa thing at her med spa, so she decided to use that. But she's doing her thing. Will Nelson be joining the podcast? Possibly. He's working some stuff out upstairs and with his family and all that kind of good stuff in Nebraska. But I talked to him the other day, and he said if we need any help, he'd be more than willing to help. But locking him down to join the podcast, we'll see. Maybe not. So that's that. Everybody, people back in it, what's crazy is, and I've said this a million times, like it's business. It's not personal. The following that we still have from Atlanta and what people remember about what we did in Atlanta on the radio. And it's been what, 3-4 years since we've been on the air, Brandon?
Yeah, something like that.
3 or 4 years. Why somebody in Atlanta has not tried to put that show back together, I have no idea. Because what I understand is Atlanta radio is struggling. And I mean, like they don't have a show. Like we were the last of its kind for Atlanta radio. Not saying better or worse. I'm just saying of its kind, a guy talk show that women love to listen to, that's kind of my moniker. Why they haven't tried to do that. It blows my mind. The show was good when everybody wanted to work. It was really, really, really good.
I knew radio started going bad when good old, country 92.5 The Bear, real Christian and everything, started putting Starship ads commercials on their station now.
Really?
I was listening, I was like, what's that? I'm like, this is The Bear, right? Like that's more of like a rock station, edgier station kind of thing to put Starship on there because a lot of kids listen to that show. So I don't.
Is that the small station down in South Georgia?
It's in Fayetteville.
Yeah. It's like a smaller. It's Is that where Caddy went?
Yeah. Yep. Cadillac.
Yeah. And they start putting Starship on there. That's fun.
And they got your old partner and his wife doing ads on there now.
What, Steve?
Yeah. And Amanda.
Doing for what?
92.5 The Bear, Zero Res, that carpet cleaning company.
Oh, well, so they're all part of the same company.
I guess. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. They so he's just doing reads for, and it just runs on that station. So yeah. Good for him. I mean, that's how it works, I mean, I've always during our podcast for this past station, they would have endorsement reads from another morning show. And I was like, why? It's just fucking, and we would say something, we'd write to our superior and say, hey, look, this is, kind of weird. It's not how it's supposed to be. And nothing ever got done. I'm like, it's just like they live in this communal world, of everybody loves each other and it's one for all and all for one. I'm like, we can't all get a trophy. And that's the mentality. This is over here. It's the everybody gets a trophy mentality. Nobody wants to be a winner and they want to be winners and everybody wants to do what I do. And everybody wants to say the things that I say. But when you actually hear them out loud, somebody's going to get mad. And there's so many people, I just want to walk around and go, shut the fuck up, you phony motherfucker. It's just like, it drives me insane, the hypocrisy. Like, just be real. If you like somebody, you like them. If you don't, you don't. If you got a problem with them, you say something. And if, you want to fix it, you say something. If not, you say, I don't like you, and we move on. But I guess people don't work like that. I don't know. Am I the weird one?
I think you're very 1988, but
yeah,
in a good way. In a good way. That was a great year, man. It was a great year. But no, I think that everybody thinks the same thing, especially anybody over the age of 35, right? Everybody's got the same mentality, but every time you get ready to say something, you got to look at somebody and be like, all right, are me and this dude on the same page? Can I say what I'm actually thinking? Because some of the things that we said when we were younger, man, we didn't mean them the way they mean them now. I mean, there was never a word or a slang that'd be thrown out that you were like, oh, I actually mean that. You just said it. It was just, good fun. Now, man, you got to be careful. You got to be careful about everything you say.
But I don't understand why I have to be careful. Like they need to be careful. Like, what if I got to think that way? They should think that way too.
I just don't think your beliefs are popular right now. I mean, you look at like what you were saying about selling the house, the American flag, and you talk about, the thin blue line. You talk about, all these things that patriotism, especially after 2001. I mean, patriotism was through the roof. I mean, everybody was patriotic. Now it's almost like if you are patriotic, you have to hide it because it's not cool. It's frowned upon. They look at you like if you have an American flag, they automatically associate that with like racism or something like that. It's crazy. I mean, you got to be very careful with those things because of where we are at in society.
Mm.
And I think that,
Mm.
and it's going to come and go. And hopefully we can get back to 1988 eventually and smoke in bars in California. And
I'm going to
do things
change the game. You know what? You know what I'm going to be? You know what I'm going to do? This is what I'm going to do. This is jaw dropping right now. I am going to change the game. I'm going to be patriotic. I'm going to support law enforcement. I'm going to say what's on my mind. And you know what I'm going to be? Different. I'm going to be an individual. I'm going to be everything that everybody wants to be. I'm going to be an individual. I'm going to say crazy things like, I don't like you.
Ooh, settle down.
I'm going to go even crazier and go, I love America. And
Come on, man.
you know what? You want to get me canceled? Here's this. I actually believe in God.
Shock factor.
And you know what? I want to top it all off and be an individual, and I want to shock the world. As a straight man, I want to say I love boobs.
Yeah.
Bring me some titty. Before we're here, Chuck, you're new to this. I don't know if you remember this from the old podcasts. Everything's better with fuck.
I think you did it one time last time I was on.
Okay. Oh shit! I forgot to see. This is how loose I am, Brandon. I know you like it when I'm loose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes me feel better.
I wrote down what these were, but I forgot to print them out, so I got to pull them up on my phone. All right. So here's the game. And here's the bit. It's called Everything's Better with Fuck. It is scientifically proven that you can take anything and insert the word fuck, and it sounds better, without a doubt. It's a great word, but it's got to be used properly. We agree to that, right? You can't overfuck. You got to fuck sporadically, periodically. So here's the game. These are this episode of Better with Fuck are movies with getting fired scenes in them. So you guys are going to have to figure out the movie and the year. And if so, you get a point. And we'll see who's going to win. All right?
All righty.
All right, let's do this.
Whatever we do, it's better with.
What?
Everything's better with the.
All right. Thank you. Okay, you ready? Here's the first one. Listen up. Pay attention.
Hey, Big M. How's it hanging? Nobody calls me fucking chicken needles. Nobody.
You are terminated. Read my
No,
facts.
please, no, I cannot be fired. I'm
Fucked.
All right. Do we know the movie? Do we know the year?
Back to the Future Part 2, 1988.
Back to the Future Part 2 is correct. Very good with Part 2. 1988 is incorrect. That is wrong.
I'm going to say 1991.
That is wrong.
Both are wrong?
Yes.
89.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
Dang.
Somewhere right there.
Brandon with 2 points. All right. You ready for the second one? Here we go. Second one. Better with fuck.
We are men without homes. We were meant to
Fuck.
a box office failure. Nobody went to see it because nobody cares about three wealthy Spanish landowners on a weekend in Manhattan.
No dough. No fuck.
I want these schmucks off of my lot. Your asses have just been streamlined. Our history.
Right?
That sounds like an Italian pirate.
No,
It's like Three Amigos.
Three Amigos. Very good.
19. 80, 88,
Ah! Try again.
87, 86. No way that came out in 86.
Yeah, 86.
What?
You were going to say that originally, too.
I know, man. God, I'm getting old. I just couldn't imagine. I saw that at 7 years old. That's terrible.
Lips, you know.
Huh.
I didn't realize all the actors that were in that movie when I pulled the clip. So that's Montagna, the guy from Princess Bride and Thinner and in CSI. That was the guy that was just talking. Joe Montagna, whatever his name.
The bad guy, right? Or no, he's the good guy that's looking for the six-fingered man.
He's the one that fired him. That was the line. He's the one.
Yeah.
And then who else was in there? Phil Hartman is in there, and there was somebody else. I didn't realize like it had all these big name actors. It was pretty good. All right, last one. It's all tied up. Better with fuck. This is a big one, really, really big one.
And then there's Tom Simkowski. He's useless. Go on. What would you say you do here?
Well, look, I already told you. I fuck with the goddamn customers so the engineers don't have to. I have
Fucking.
skills. I am good at
Fucking.
with people. Can't you understand that? What the hell is wrong with you people?
There you go.
Office Space.
Oh, damn. He just got in there right quick. Yeah.
1997.
Office Space. Yeah. 87. Wrong.
95.
96.
Oh God.
98.
Nope. Sorry. Wrong button.
99.
Yeah. There you go.
Championship.
There you go.
Kobe.
Would have been Todd.
Nicely done. Yeah, there we go. Good job, guys. Chuck wins. I also want to bring back one question, Brandon.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll have to
We'll
rattle
do.
my brain.
Yeah, we'll do an episode, one question with Brandon. People like that. I'll even do a shirt for it. All right. And then we got to come up with something. Oh, that's why I was thinking about you in the shower, Chuck. Because I was like, okay, better with fuck. You know, if we do each episode, we got a, we got better with fuck. I was thinking of getting iron fisted in the shower. And then one
There
question,
was shower with Chuck.
one question with Brandon. So we've got to think of something that Chuck can bring to the podcast. So
Yeah.
I was thinking, you have so many stories of when you're in the military and maybe something military related. So your job is to come up with something clever. Like one question with Brandon is great. Brandon asks it's not difficult. He just literally asks a pretty stupid fucking question that ends up being really, really good because we can't figure out the answer. No, there is no answer. There never is an answer. People liked better with fuck. I don't know. It's a little bit of work, but I have no problem doing it. So we need to have something with Chuck.
You got it, man. I'll have something good for you.
How about we shove things up your asshole and we call it Chuck Iron Fist it? We got to figure out what's up your asshole.
I don't think I could pull that off. I'll have to go with something a little less invasive.
Okay. Just an idea. This is just spitball. It's a brainstorming session.
You could like try different batteries each time. Like we got a 9-volt today. See how it tastes.
I'm good.
Don't say no. Be a yes man. If you've seen the movie, before you shoot things down, try shoving a 9-volt up in there and see how.
I'm gonna say no.
No. All right. Well, that was fun. We're done. That was good. We'll talk about your arrest on the next episode, Brandon. We'll talk.
Oh yeah, I'm actually talking to a different lawyer today. So.
Oh, you didn't remind me. I got to get you an attorney's name.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, I think I told you I also found one in Noonan, so as well.
Yeah, I thought you meant Dan Noonan.
No, is that a lawyer's name?
Yeah, it is. He used to be a cop, I think. Is that a Florida guy or is that a Georgia guy? Is he in Georgia or Florida? I know there's a Dan Noonan somewhere.
I have no idea. I meant in Noonan, a lawyer from Noonan. Not
Yeah,
Dan.
well, his last name was. This was a bit that I was going to do on the radio show. That I never got a chance to do here in Sacramento, but all the attorneys here in town have these clever billboards, and they're actually very entertaining. That anything that rhymes with their name. Like there's this good-looking blonde, and her like You know, it's like, yes, you can with Ann. And, you know, there's like, you know, we're going to go to the tank with Frank, you know, and it's like they're all the attorneys and they're just lined up on the side of the interstate and they've got them back to back. It's pretty fucking neat, you know, a little cheesy, but pretty fucking neat. Oh, that was the other thing. I started to get there before we get out of here. I was reflecting. Yeah, I was reflecting. I was reflecting on what we accomplished in radio in Sacramento. Like, what did we leave behind? What did we contribute to the industry that I love? There's nothing I love more outside of my family and country and God than getting behind this microphone. You know, I'm addicted to it. That's why I've been for the last couple of weeks trying to figure out all this shit. I'm like, I just want it to go away so I can get back to doing this. I love this so much. And I love talking to y'all so much. And I appreciate y'all listening. But I was like, what did we do on the radio show? It was so little time. You know, were we able to accomplish anything? And then I thought about it. I'm like, oh my God, we accomplished a lot in a year on that radio station. We held the biggest event that we held the biggest event that radio station had seen in at least a year that I know of. The event that I had to put on by myself for the most part, which was the Christmas event that we did for Lost but Not Forgotten charity. 6 boxes of stuff for 6 truckloads of stuff for these kids with the charity. That's a huge accomplishment. You know, nobody understood it. Nobody knew how to do it. They were embarrassed afterwards because they didn't get that a morning show does these things. Because they, in their defense, hadn't been used to that because they had a morning show prior that was all inclusive and they were doing their things outside the studio. I get it. You know, all you have to do is ask. I can teach you. And so that was huge. We had people lined up at the venue, the coffee house place where we did the broadcast 30 minutes before we started. And we were only in morning drive for like 2 months at the time. That was huge. We had people nonstop for 4.5 hours. Nonstop. Huge accomplishment. Boom. The paper towel bit. Great bit. Based off a lot of truth. You know, I got called in. I got yelled at. And when I say yelled at, I'm not metaphorically speaking, literally yelled at. I mean, I was yelled at. And so part of it, the end part, the funny part, I thought was me dipping in the studio. The other part I didn't get into, but the dipping and then the paper towel bit and stuff, that was funny. Really funny. They still have a closet full of paper towels from y'all. Right? Funny. That's good. That's an accomplishment. That's a good bit. That's a good radio bit. Even our talent coach guy loved it. He thought it was the best. Thought it was great. And then I was like, going back to why I said I love radio so much. And it could probably be done in podcasting too. I'm assuming it just couldn't be done live. Is you're waiting for that call from the guy that's about to jump off the Brooklyn Bridge and commit suicide and save his life. And I've saved someone's life on the air before when I was in Orlando at Real Radio doing nights. So I know the feeling. It's a great feeling. It's not a better feeling. We did that the week before we parted ways. We did that. Yeah, with Drunk John. That guy, you know, started out as just a drunk caller one time, drunk caller to the show. We had our radio fun. And then as we're talking to him, it was on a Friday. I'm like, you know, we could probably really help this guy, you know, and that's like kind of today's edgy radio. It's not to beat him up. It's to do the opposite. It's like, you know, I try to like look at what the mindset is of people. You know, if we just sat there, it's like, it's Drunk John, you know, it's funny, but it's got a shelf life, right? It ends. So if you look at it, WWE storyline, like that's what I was thinking, that whole conversation that he was on the air. And I'm like, let's have you back. Let's do a week of interventions. So every day we had an intervention with somebody from his past. Yes, of course, they weren't really from his past. That was the funny part of it, right? Yes, I wrote the letters. I know, spoiler alert, breaking the fourth wall. But it was funny. They were funny. And I think Brandon was even one of them. So, you know, that was the bit part of it. But then we got into the serious part of it. And, you know, we talked about it. Was he drinking? Is he, you know, and now to this day, he's like 2.5, 3 weeks sober from what I understand.
Damn.
and we never got a follow-up on the radio. So we will get a follow-up on the podcast, hopefully next week. Yeah. So like just in a year, those three things off the top of my head, I mean, there were some good conversations. There was a lot of laughs. You know, the dynamic of the show was good. You know, like me, Nikki, and Nelson worked really, really well together. If that show could have done what it was initially intended to do, you know, it was out of my control, but that show could have been something big, you know, just because of the talent in that room. You know, I always said, you know, Nikki's a diamond in the rough. You know, she's, you know, if she would little bit more direction, she's a rock star in the making. And Nelson, you know, keep his head on straight, rock star, you know, all those types of things. But we just never had that opportunity, unfortunately, for Sacramento, you know, and the company, because we could have done some great things with the company too. So it's a shame that kind of how all that stuff went down. But anyway, reflecting back, we did some really good things in just a year. And I'm very proud of that. Very, very proud of that. So
Probably got a second HR person hired too.
Yeah.
Got someone else's job. Look at you. Good job.
Here's the thing is you always want to leave your mark, right? Your thumbprint. I'm not a forgettable person. So like me or hate me, probably the latter, is they won't forget. And that's important. That makes me happy. I'm living rent free. And I know that for a very, very long time, you know, especially with the things that I know and the things that I found out later, I will live rent free, and that's fine, you know, and that's good. And someday maybe we'll discuss, who knows? But you know, I did have a good time. It was fun. You know, the best thing was in the morning is going to work, the view. And when the sun rises in the state of California are gorgeous, absolutely beautiful. And I know this sounds really girly and cheesy, but every morning when that sun would rise and I could just look out the window and see it coming up above the mountains, that's a sight you just don't see very often, you know. And if I move from the state, you know, I'll never see it again. But it's you know, and then you go see, you know, go to Florida, see it over the water and all that kind of stuff. But it's pretty fucking cool. If you've never seen it, it's a really, really cool. And every day I just go out there by myself and I look at that and I'd be like, that's pretty badass. I'm a lucky guy. You know, that's how I'd look at it. So anyway, all right, well, let's get out of here. Thanks for jumping on, guys. Hope everybody enjoyed this episode of the BS. Again, like, share, follow thebaileyshow.com. Get people to subscribe for us if you don't mind. Get the chatter going. Pick parts of this conversation and have a conversation. If you want to get approved for the private Facebook group for the BS2 Peers, just search the BS2 Peers. I'll approve you. There's stuff on the merch store, and you can get all of this on thebaileyshow.com. So there's all this information is on thebaileyshow.com. And reach out to us, any of us, at any point in time. If you got anything you want to join the show or whatnot, that's cool too. All right, Brandon, you got anything before we get out?
The best way you can help us is to share our post on Instagram on your story and hit that save button. That'll let Instagram know that it needs to show it to more people.
Really? Look at that.
Yeah, share it to your story and hit that save, bookmark it.
All right. Chuck, do you have anything to add, especially as social media technologically sound as that?
I'm not social media technically sound. I do want to leave you with a word of advice. Next time you get on Facebook and you search for boxes for sale, before you go pick them up, just shoot a loved one a text saying, hey, this is the address I'm going. This is what time I should be gone. And maybe have them alert the police. I mean, it's a rape waiting to happen. So just for your own good, just please do that. And that'll keep the show going for a little bit longer.
Right. And I know you brought that up because I did text you when I went to go get the box. I was afraid I was going to get violated by the lesbian. Yes. All right. Hey, as always, have yourself a great, safe rest of your day or week, depending on how long it's going to be. Appreciate the listen, and we'll talk soon. Bye.
Thanks for listening. Till next time, check out thebaileyshow.com. Make sure you like, share, follow on all socials. I leave you with these parting words.
Never got a pink slip either. You know what I would get? A guy would come around to my desk and say, get the fuck out of here.
What do we want to talk about?